Some plants don't just purify your air, they actually shift the entire energy of your home. While you're spending money on crystals and sage, living plants could be doing far more powerful work. These are plants that grandmothers wouldn't live without, plants that turn a living room into a sanctuary. So which plants actually carry this kind of power, and how do you bring them into your space? We're covering 15 spiritual plants that attract positive energy into any home this week. Stick around, because number 11 has been planted near doorways for over 800 years. Number 15 was used in purification ceremonies across multiple continents throughout history. Each plant on this list carries its own distinct tradition, so let's go through them one by one. Let's get into it, starting with rue, often called the guardian against negativity itself. This plant carries one of the most trusted reputations in spiritual protection you'll find anywhere. For generations, people have hung rue near doors and windows to keep negative energy from entering. The blue-green leaves have a distinct, almost sharp aroma that immediately signals serious protection. In Mediterranean countries, grandmothers wouldn't dream of a home without rue growing nearby. It wasn't decoration, it was genuine protection passed down through generations of careful practice. Traditions across Italy, Greece, and Latin America all believed rue could absorb negative energy. That shared belief across such distant cultures is part of what makes rue's reputation so trusted. People hung dried bunches above doorways or grew it in pots right at the entrance to their home. Rue can irritate skin in sunlight and isn't safe for pets or children to ingest, worth noting clearly. Used respectfully near an entrance, rue works like a spiritual guard that never sleeps or complains. That quiet, constant presence is exactly why it earned such deep trust across generations. Number 2 is bay laurel, known as the plant of victory and abundance across ancient cultures. Bay laurel has been used in Greek, Roman, and Mediterranean traditions for thousands of years now. This glossy-leafed tree has been tied to prosperity since ancient priestesses wore laurel crowns. Victors in ancient games were crowned with these aromatic leaves, symbolizing success and honor. Households kept bay leaves near entryways specifically to welcome abundance into the home. What's beautiful about bay laurel is how practical it is, useful for cooking and spiritual work alike. People write intentions on dried bay leaves, burn them, and release that energy into the universe. Keep a potted bay laurel near your front door, or place leaves in your wallet to attract opportunity. That combination of decorative and practical use is part of why bay laurel remains so popular today. Some people place leaves under pillows specifically hoping for prophetic or meaningful dreams. Bay laurel doesn't just talk about manifestation, it actually creates that energy in your space. It's like having a small temple of abundance quietly growing right in your living room. That kind of living, breathing symbol is genuinely different from a candle or a printed affirmation. Third is hyssop, often described as the ultimate purifier among all spiritual plants. This plant has one of the most direct purposes you'll find, clearing negative energy from a space. Hyssop was used in biblical times for cleansing rituals and trusted across many traditions since. It's especially used for spiritually cleansing homes after illness, conflict, or heavy energy. The plant grows spikes of blue or purple flowers with a minty, clean, almost medicinal aroma. Everything about hyssop signals a genuine fresh start for whoever brings it into their home. Traditional cleaners made bundles of hyssop to sweep through rooms after arguments or sickness. That physical sweeping motion was itself considered part of the spiritual clearing process. Others steeped it in water for floor washes, or burned dried hyssop to reset a room's atmosphere. What makes hyssop different is that it's believed to actually clear stagnant energy, not just mask it. Grow it easily in a sunny spot, and use hyssop tea for spiritual baths or in cleaning water. The plant also attracts bees and butterflies, adding another layer of vibrant, positive energy. Hyssop offers something deeper than an air freshener, sanctifying a space physically and spiritually. That dual purpose is exactly why so many old traditions kept it close during difficult times. Number 4 is angelica, often called the divine protector for very good historical reason. This plant lives up to its heavenly name, tied to Archangel Michael in centuries of belief. People grew angelica near homes specifically to invoke protective spiritual forces and safety. It's a tall, impressive plant with large umbrella-like flower clusters and a genuinely protective presence. The roots, leaves, and seeds carry a slightly sweet, slightly musky, deeply grounding aroma. Traditionally, people planted Angelica near doorways and property boundaries as a spiritual guardian. That placement at the boundary itself reflects its whole purpose as a threshold protector. They carried the root as a protective charm, or burned it as incense inviting angelic protection. The plant's presence alone was thought to create a spiritual shield for anyone feeling vulnerable. Angelica offers something no security system can, the feeling that protective forces are present. It's like having a silent, strong guardian standing watch quietly over your entire household. That sense of quiet protection is often exactly what people are searching for during hard times. Fifth is mugwort, known as the dream enhancer among those who work closely with intuitive practices. Mugwort has been used for thousands of years to enhance dreams and strengthen intuition. Traditional dream workers stuffed pillows with dried mugwort or burned it before sleep for vivid dreams. Mugwort is said to thin the veil between waking consciousness and the dream realm gently. It doesn't force anything. It simply makes those subtler realms more accessible to the mind. People report clearer dreams, better recall, and genuine spiritual clarity when working with it. It grows easily, though it spreads readily, so keep it contained if planting it directly outdoors. Some people make dream pillows with dried mugwort, while others keep a potted plant in the bedroom. Either approach works, since it's really the plant's presence that matters most in this tradition. The energy is gentle but persistent, like a soft whisper reminding you to trust your inner wisdom. Mugwort is quietly powerful for anyone wanting to reconnect with intuition or their dream life. It doesn't demand attention, it simply supports whatever inner work someone is already doing. Number 6 is holy basil, also called tulsi, known as the sacred entrance guardian. Holy basil is sacred in Hindu tradition, traditionally kept near entrances to invite blessing. This fragrant herb has purple-tinged leaves and a distinctive clove-like aroma unlike most herbs. In traditional households, tulsi plants are kept near the front door and tended daily with devotion. You don't just grow it, you care for it as an actual spiritual practice built into daily life. That daily ritual of care is really what separates tulsi from most other decorative houseplants. Daily watering becomes meditation, and tending the plant becomes a small daily offering. The plant responds, in belief, by creating increasingly powerful protective energy over time. Tulsi is also used in tea for calming energy, with leaves sometimes offered during prayer. The primary use, though, is simply having the living plant present at your entrance daily. Walking through a doorway protected by tulsi is said to create a felt shift in energy. It transforms an ordinary doorway into something sacred, blessing everyone who crosses through. That transformation happens gradually, through consistent daily attention rather than a single ritual. Number 7 is lemon verbena, often called the joy bringer for its bright, uplifting quality. This plant brings fresh start energy into a home unlike almost anything else on this list. The intensely lemon-scented leaves create an atmosphere of joy, optimism, and new beginnings. Just brushing your hand through the leaves releases a bright aroma that lifts mood instantly. Traditional practitioners washed floors and doorways with lemon verbena tea before new beginnings. The spiritual principle here is that verbena doesn't just clear negativity, it attracts joy actively. It creates an atmosphere where good things feel possible and hope feels genuinely natural again. After periods of stagnation, lemon verbena is said to help restore real, grounded optimism. Grow it easily in containers, and brush your hands through the plant whenever you need a lift. For anyone wanting fresh starts and optimistic energy, lemon verbena makes every day feel possible. It's an especially good choice for a home coming out of a difficult or stagnant stretch of time. 8 is scented geranium, sometimes called the heart healer among lesser-known spiritual plants. Scented geranium creates gentle, heart-opening, peace-bringing energy through its rose-scented leaves. While roses get most of the attention for love work, this plant offers similar energy more practically. The leaves smell like roses, but with a green, herbaceous undertone that's incredibly soothing. Traditional use included carrying leaves for protection and growing it where tensions needed softening. It addresses heart energy gently, helping people naturally soften toward each other over time. Grow it easily in bright indoor light, using the leaves in spiritual baths or tucked into pillows. Some people brush the leaves before difficult conversations to invoke a calmer, more open energy. For creating heart-centered, harmonious energy in relationships, scented geranium offers constant support. It works quietly in the background, softening tension without anyone needing to say a word. Number 9 is jasmine, associated with one of the most powerful emotional shifts a plant can bring. The intoxicating fragrance alone shifts emotional and spiritual states quite dramatically for many. That sweet, heady scent is tied to lifting depression and connecting with divine feminine energy. Traditional practices across Asia and the Middle East include offering jasmine flowers at altars. That practice of offering flowers specifically reflects how sacred the scent was considered to be. Growing jasmine near windows lets the fragrance fill an entire home with its distinctive scent. Jasmine doesn't just smell beautiful, it's believed to shift emotional vibration toward higher states. The scent can pull people out of dark moods and create a sense of celebration on ordinary days. When jasmine blooms, some traditions say the fragrance can attract angels and blessing spirits. For inviting joy, love, and harmony into a home, jasmine offers genuinely concentrated spiritual beauty. Even a single blooming vine can noticeably change the mood of an entire room within minutes. 10th is gardenia, often called the sanctuary creator for the atmosphere it brings into a room. If jasmine feels joyful, gardenia feels deeply serene, tied to purity and true sanctuary energy. The pristine white flowers and intoxicating scent are associated with protection and peaceful meditation. The scent itself is creamy, deeply calming, and almost otherworldly compared to most flowers. Traditional use includes placing gardenia flowers on altars and using the scent during meditation. The energy gardenia creates is both protective and inviting, both pure and genuinely peaceful. Gardenia can be challenging to grow, and that difficulty is said to add to its spiritual value. The challenge itself becomes part of the meaning, since easy things rarely feel as meaningful. Tending it becomes a practice in patience and devotion, teaching something beyond the bloom itself. When it finally flowers, the reward can feel like a genuine spiritual blessing entering the home. For anyone wanting real sanctuary energy, gardenia turns a room into something closer to a refuge. That refuge feeling is exactly what makes people return to a gardenia-filled room again and again. Number 11 is linden, the one teased earlier, often called the peace tree across old traditions. This tree has been planted near doorways and village squares for over 800 years. Linden is known specifically as the tree that brings entire communities together in peace. The heart-shaped leaves and honey-scented flowers create a profound sense of calm you can feel. Traditional European communities planted linden in gathering places where people met beneath it. That communal gathering purpose is genuinely central to why linden earned the name peace tree. Families planted lindens near homes specifically to create peaceful energy and reduce conflict. Linden is believed to calm heated emotions and help people behave with more patience and kindness. The tree carries a gentle, almost maternal presence, watching over a household with quiet patience. While most lindens grow large, smaller varieties can be grown in containers or as dwarf types. Even a small linden is said to create surprisingly powerful, genuinely peaceful energy nearby. Linden faded from common use as we moved away from planting trees with intentional purpose. For anyone wanting conflict-reducing energy at home, linden offers centuries of proven spiritual service. It's the tree that makes peace emerge naturally from a space rather than being forced into it. That natural, unforced quality is exactly why linden has stayed relevant across so many centuries. 12 is hawthorn, taking us into more serious, fiercely protective spiritual territory. This thorny tree with white flowers and red berries carries protective energy trusted for centuries. Traditional practice included planting hawthorn hedges around property boundaries for protection. That physical hedge doubled as both a literal and spiritual boundary marker for the property. Others hung branches over doorways, treating the tree itself as a genuine spiritual guardian. The thorns represent defense, the flowers represent blessing, and the berries represent nourishment. Together, these elements create complete protective energy that both guards and nurtures a home. Hawthorn doesn't just passively protect, it's believed to actively guard whatever it watches over. The tree is tied to protective forces in Celtic tradition, respected and slightly feared at once. You don't casually work with hawthorn, you form a relationship with it as a serious protective ally. Dwarf varieties can grow in containers, though it prefers open ground where roots spread deeply. Some people plant hawthorn near property lines or flanking driveways where its energy works best. For anyone needing a fierce guardian for their property, hawthorn offers powerful, watchful protection. It's not a gentle plant, and that intensity is precisely why so many people trust it completely. 13 is yarrow, often described as the courage plant among old European spiritual traditions. Yarrow brings a kind of warrior energy into spiritual plant work, unlike softer, gentler herbs. Warriors once carried yarrow into battle, and people hung it over doorways for protection. That battlefield history is part of why yarrow's energy is described as bold rather than gentle. It was also used to create boundaries against fear and negative influence in daily life. The fern-like leaves and flat flower clusters create energy of standing strong and facing challenges. Traditional use included carrying yarrow for protection and growing it to support difficult times. Yarrow doesn't just protect from outside negativity, it's said to help you find your own courage. After trauma or boundary violations, yarrow is believed to help people reclaim their inner strength. It grows easily in most gardens, even tolerating poor soil, which speaks to its resilient nature. The plant self-seeds and spreads, creating increasingly protective energy in a space over time. Some people use yarrow in spiritual baths before challenging situations, or simply grow it nearby. For anyone needing to reclaim courage or feel stronger in their own space, yarrow offers real support. It's especially valued by people who feel like they've lost their footing after a hard season. 14 is frankincense, sometimes called the temple plant for the atmosphere it creates indoors. The resin from frankincense trees has been burned in temples and sacred spaces for thousands of years. It's traditionally used to raise spiritual vibration and create an atmosphere of prayer and meditation. Frankincense as a living tree is rare and challenging to grow, which makes owning one quite significant. Simply being near a frankincense plant is said to elevate consciousness and support meditation. The resin, when burned, produces a bright, slightly lemony, deeply spiritual incense aroma. That scent has been tied to prayer and spiritual ascension across traditions for millennia. The living tree is said to hold that same potential even without ever burning its resin. Frankincense trees need bright light, excellent drainage, and warm, stable growing conditions. They're slow-growing and genuinely precious, which adds to their spiritual significance for owners. Some practitioners keep small frankincense trees in meditation rooms or near personal altars. For anyone serious about creating sacred space, a frankincense tree offers rare energetic support. Owning one is often seen as a genuine milestone in a person's personal spiritual practice. And finally, number 15 is vervain, often called the holy herb across many old traditions. This plant was sacred to Druids and used in Roman purification ceremonies throughout history. Vervain is considered one of the most spiritually powerful plants in European folk tradition. It was used for blessing, cleansing, protection, and divination across multiple ancient cultures. The plant was gathered with specific ceremonies and treated with genuine reverence and respect. Temples were swept with vervain, and altars were blessed with it in numerous historical accounts. The plant itself is modest, growing wild in meadows with small purple flowers on tall spikes. That modest appearance holds tremendous spiritual weight, according to centuries of tradition. Traditional practice included hanging vervain above doorways for both protection and blessing. Vervain water was used to cleanse sacred objects and spaces in numerous ceremonial traditions. It shows that powerful spiritual protection isn't aggressive or complicated in its actual practice. It's rooted in ancient, humble practice, offering blessing through presence rather than force. Vervain grows easily in sunny spots and tolerates poor soil, much like several plants before it. The flowering spikes appear in summer and have been harvested with reverence for generations. Some people make vervain water for blessing their homes, while others simply grow it near the entrance. Vervain reminds us that holiness in these traditions isn't distant or complicated to access. It's growing quietly nearby, waiting for someone to remember what these old practices once meant. That quiet, patient waiting is genuinely the whole spirit behind every plant on this entire list. That's 15 spiritual plants, each carrying its own tradition of protection, peace, or blessing. Some guard your threshold, some clear heavy energy, and others simply invite joy into a room. None of them require elaborate rituals, just presence, care, and a bit of genuine intention. If this gave you a plant you're excited to bring home, drop a comment and tell us which one. Are you drawn more to protection, to peace, or to purification among everything covered today? If you enjoyed this look into spiritual plants, go ahead and subscribe for more content like it. We're building a space for people who believe a home can genuinely be a kind of sanctuary. Thank you for spending this time exploring these traditions, and we'll see you in the next one.